I'm back. If you are new to my channel, my name is Ciara. I'm a first-year medical student trying to document my med school journey on YouTube, but failing at it. I'm here to give you guys a med school update. Finally back, and I'm better. And I'm here to give you guys an update on how school has been going for the past 3 months now. Actually, almost 4 months. Next week will be like 4 months. Stay tuned if you're interested to see if I regret my decision to go to medical school and all of that jazz. You guys, I know that I know. So see, what had happened was I was going to upload. I have so much footage for you guys. You know, I've been vlogging. I think since my last the video I was supposed to do like 3 months ago was my 6-week update. I'm now in starting week 17, and I can't believe I'm starting week 17. But I did a 6-week update on medical school, filmed it, just never edited it or uploaded. And I have several hours of vlog footage. And I think that, first of all, kudos to the people out there who were vlogging their med school journey. Kudos to the med school YouTubers. I don't know how you guys did it, but you guys have been literally killing the game. The issue with me is the fact that I just let stuff build up. I would record videos and record footage, but I wouldn't edit it as I went along. I would just record. And then when I would upload my footage onto iMovie, it would be 3-4 hours worth of footage. And then I would be looking at it like, how am I about to edit 3 hours into a 10-minute video? And then I would just be overwhelmed and be like, I'll come back to it. And then I would never come back to it. And that was my issue. I feel like being a YouTuber is definitely doable. You just have to edit as you go. If I did 30 minutes of editing a day while I recorded a vlog, boom, I would be done by the weekend. I could upload it, but I would record a whole week, not touch it, come back to it a week later. It would be 3 hours, and I would be like, you know what? I just don't have time. So that's what happened basically. And after I did that a couple times, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna edit these. I'm just gonna upload a whole new video. And then I just never uploaded a whole new video, because you have to think about this setup, and my room will be too dirty, and I'm like, oh, I can't, unless I clean my room, I can't record a video. Or I'll be like, oh, I just look crazy, I want to get cute, but I'm like, oh, I'm too lazy to get cute. And then the few times I would get cute, I would be in a rush because I was going somewhere, and then it would be like, oh, I don't have time to film because I'm going here. And it just was a vicious cycle. But I'm back and I'm better, so I'm ready to give you guys content. I'm ready to be back. I already have several videos uploaded. I mean, not uploaded. I have several videos in the making for you guys. I'm ready to start being more consistent. YouTube was my break from school that I got to, you know, YouTube was fun for me. Editing videos is fun sometimes, but editing is fun and filming videos is fun. And I need that as a break from school stuff, which is why I want to be back and uploading videos, because like I said, it's my outlet. I've been through 16 weeks of med school now at this point. I'm starting week 17 on Monday. Today is Saturday, and I'm starting it on Monday, and I have 2 more weeks of school. So yeah, we're nearing the end of my first semester, which sounds crazy because it honestly did go by really fast. I think the first thing I want to touch on is virtual learning. Now, this has been a big issue for a lot of med school students. My school, I think I went into this in a previous video, my school is doing a hybrid method. So med school is basically broken up into 2 categories. You have the lectures and learning the science stuff, and then you have the clinical side of medicine, where you learn like how to perform physicals, how to take patient histories, how to become an actual doctor, not just like the science portion of it. So the hybrid method was lectures will be virtual. So the actual learning science part are all virtual, 100% virtual. You learn virtually. Where the how to be a doctor part, clinical part, every school calls it something different. We call it POM, which is called practice of medicine. And in POM, we are broken up into small groups that consist of 8 students. And that is where you learn all that stuff with. For us, that was supposed to be like the hybrid part. That stuff is in person, but it didn't honestly really work out that way. It wasn't what we thought it would be. Learning how to do physicals, that part was still virtual, which is still a big kind of issue right now. because I can talk you through on how to take a blood pressure. I can talk you through on how to perform a whole physical, but I can't actually do it because that part is not in person. So that's one thing that is unfortunately online. And then working with standardized patients, most med schools work with standardized patients, which are trained actors who act as patients, and you work with them, you do histories and physicals and all that on them. And that is also virtual. So we would be going in person, meeting with our group, but the patient would still be on the big screen virtually meeting us, and we would just be in person. So it's just been a little difficult dealing with that, honestly, especially because I know a lot of people who go to different schools, and every school is different. It's very subjective based on what state you live in. But I know schools that are 100% in person, everything is normal right now. I know schools where only the clinical stuff is in person. I know schools that are 100% virtual. So it's a little frustrating here about how other students get to do all these cool things in person, and for us, it's not the case. It's pretty much feels like we're 100% virtual. We go in once a week for those case studies, but like I said, the patients are still virtual. The the physicals are still virtual. It sucks, honestly, it sucks. I'm learning how to perform a physical virtually. It does suck. And also anatomy lab, for us, anatomy lab starts in next semester in January, and that's where you go in with your group and you each get a cadaver, which is a dead human body. Yes, it is a real human body, and you dissect it. For us, that's not happening this year. We are having prosections instead of dissections, which means instead of us dissecting the body ourselves like you usually do it, it's already going to be cut for us and it's just going to be shown to us. So that sucks. A lot of things suck, and I know it's not just unique to me. It's happening to everyone. So I just kind of made peace with it and know that it is okay and that everything will end up working out and that everyone is struggling right now. I'm not the only one going through it, but it does suck at the end of the day. Our deans tell us like, oh, the quality of education isn't changed, but honestly it is. The quality of education is changed a little bit. I'm not saying that it'll be detrimental. I'm not saying that we won't be good doctors, but the quality of education has changed. It has, unfortunately, it has. And our averages on exams are lower than the classes before ours because we are learning in a virtual setting. We're going to be fine at the end of the day. Everything will work out, but it is annoying and it does suck. So that's one thing that has been a struggle a little bit, adjusting to this virtual method and knowing that the second semester pretty much is going to be the same thing. It just honestly sucks. So home life. Y'all, living at home I have so many mixed emotions about this. So many mixed emotions. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it is hard. It is difficult living at home, and it's nobody's fault. It's not my family's fault, but it is just difficult. My house has 5 people in it, or it did have 5 people in it for the past couple of months, and it's been hard to balance 5 people. 5 people were all home during the day. Everyone who I live with works from home or does school from home. So it is 5 people in the house 24 hours a day. And it is difficult. I feel like it's hard to focus. It is honestly hard to focus, and there's a lot going on in the house, and the house isn't 100% quiet, which is nobody's fault. But, my mom is a therapist and she has clients all day, and I can hear her down in her office, on appointments a lot. And my sister has meetings for her job, and I can hear her on the meetings, and my brother is doing this, and everyone. It's just a lot going on in the house, and it's not just a completely silent environment that it might have been if I lived alone. And also, I think it's just hard for me in general being here. I'm in my home state. I'm in the city that I grew up in. And it's just a lot going on. Like, I feel like if I would have went to school in like Chicago or Wisconsin where I didn't know anybody, and I was just there, I would be in an apartment that would be quiet. I feel like I would be able to get more work done, and because no one would be bothering me. And also, I just wouldn't have much to do outside of school, because I wouldn't know anyone in that city other than like my classmates. Whereas here, because this is a city where I grew up in, and because I just moved back here after 4 years of living in New York, it's always something. It's always a person who's in town who wants to come see me. It's always this person wants to do something. It's this event happening. It's a family member has this. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. So I feel like I'm constantly busy on top of the people from school who want to hang out. So it's just a constant struggle living here at home with stuff going on home, and then people wanting to hang out, and family events, and it's just a lot going on. It's a lot going on because I'm here where I'm from, and I feel like out-of-state students don't have these same issues because like my out-of-state friends I know, they get to chill on weekends and they basically chill on weekends and get their stuff done. which I do not do enough. So they get to chill and they get their stuff done, and for me, it's balancing so many things, which has been a little difficult. Most med school students live off of loans because we can't work. Med school is a full-time job. So most students just live off loans, and I'm just like, should I take out the loan and get my own apartment? Or should I just stay at home for free and save that money? And that's been my biggest dilemma. I'm not opposed to moving out. I don't think I'm gonna move out this first year. But I'm keeping that as a possibility open for the years to come, because it honestly is a struggle. I would be lying if I said living at home is easy. It's not. I get distracted very easily and it's hard. The living at home struggle kind of goes along with balance, and I would say balance is probably the number one issue that I have been struggling with since the first week of school. It's hard. It is hard to balance your social life, your personal mental health, your school life. It's just a lot. It has been a struggle for me to balance everything because school is a lot, and I struggle a little bit with school because it pretty much is self-directed study. You make your own schedule. It's a lot of freedom, especially being virtual. It's a lot of freedom. I'm only tied to school about 1 day a week, and other than like a couple meetings throughout the week, it's pretty much my own schedule 100%. So I could wake up at 6 and try to bang stuff out. I have classmates who wake up at 12:01 and get stuff done. You basically wake up whenever you want and get your stuff done however you want. So kind of try to work on like an 8 to 5, 9 to 6 type of schedule. Like I pretend like it's a regular job. But the thing is, stuff comes up, or you get behind, or a lecture takes longer than you thought it would. So then you don't get all you want done that day, and then you feel like you're behind. And then you're in catch-up mode. And that basically is what happens to me every exam. I feel like I'm always in catch-up mode because something happened, or I was lazy this day and didn't do enough, or this came up, or it's just always something. And I feel like I'm always in catch-up mode. And that is what basically throws off my whole schedule. So then I'm in catch-up mode. So then I basically have to study more and longer, and then I start neglecting self-care. And that's what I try to prevent every day. But then somehow the issue comes back up. So then I stop working out. I stop eating healthy. I stop cooking. I stop taking time out for me. I stop answering the phone. I stop talking to everyone. And that's basically a vicious cycle that continually happens to me because somehow I just keep getting behind, catch-up mode, and then I have to shut down and just study so I don't fail the next exam. And that's something I've been trying to work on. If you just get everything done on schedule, how it's supposed to be, and stay on track, then none of that will happen. You won't be in catch-up mode, and you'll be able to have time for self-care and getting 8 hours of sleep and taking time out for yourself and talking to your friends and doing this and that and that. But that is my constant struggle, learning that balance, learning how to balance everything out. So I have a set time for school, a set time for friends, a set time for family, a set time for me. And that's what I've been struggling with. If anyone has any tips, please let me know down below. But that has been my biggest struggle. Somehow I end up studying for the whole day, and then I'm exhausted and I don't have energy to do anything else. And then I have to decide between me time, family time, or friend time. And that's my constant struggle. Say I'm burnt out, it's 8 p.m. now, I just finished because I was behind, and now it's like, I have 4 friends who are blowing my phone up, who need to talk, who want to update me on their lives, who want to talk about this, that. And I'm like, do I take the time out to answer my friend's call, talk to them, hear them out for a couple hours? Because with my friends, it's never a quick 5-minute conversation. It's always hours. So it's like, I just finished for the day. Do I take this time out to just finally have time to myself where I can relax? I can put my phone down, put the computer down, put my iPad down, and just relax, or, do my hair, do a face mask, or do a hair mask, or do some exercise, or do some yoga, or make something to eat, or, chill in my bed, Netflix? Or do I answer this 2-hour call that I know after I get off this call, it's going to be time for bed? Or do I go downstairs with my family and interact and socialize with them, since I haven't been downstairs all day and haven't spoken to anyone today? And do I go talk with them and eat dinner with them and do this and that? Or do I, it's just a struggle between balancing everything pretty much. Like something has to give every week, and it sucks, but I don't want it to be that way. So if you guys have any advice, please let me know, because it usually ends up being me that gets neglected because I put everything else first. And it usually, I try not to let sleep. I've been pretty good about getting my 8 hours, so it usually isn't sleep that is the one that gets neglected, but sometimes it is sleep. But most of the time I would say it's me that ends up getting neglected because of everything else. So I'm trying to figure out that balance so I don't have that issue. But I would say one good thing I do like about school being virtual and everything is that I have been able to do some extracurricular activities that I didn't expect. I didn't come into med school thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of clubs and get involved. I was mostly gonna focus on school, but with school being virtually, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to become involved in school because you don't need to commute. It's a less of a time commitment. Let me tell you guys about the things I'm involved in, like quite a few things a little bit. There's this one website called DC COVID Connect that some third-year students made at the beginning of the pandemic. That basically is like a website that has all the resources and everything you need to know about what you can do, where you can go, and everything involving the pandemic. It's basically like a one-stop website for the DMV area where it just has a whole bunch of resources and tools to help you out with anything you need. And I'm one of the editors of the website, so I add in new information in my special section. I also was a part of this program where we taught sexual education to sixth graders. That was really fun. It was virtual, so it was a little rocky at times trying to get, just shout out to the teachers because teaching on Zoom is not easy. Teaching kids is not easy through a computer screen. So it was a little challenging at times, but that was honestly really fun, teaching the sixth graders sexual education. They're just so smart and just so, I just love little kids. They're just, they're innocent and they're smart and it was fun teaching them that. And they're like really mature. I feel like I don't remember being that mature in sixth grade. I'm also in SNMA, which is just like Student National Medical Association. Is that what it is? I think so. And that's basically an organization for like the minority students, mostly Black. I feel like it's mostly Black students, but the minority students in med school. So I have a community of Black students at my school, which is amazing because, there's not a lot of us. So I'm glad that I have a community with the Black people at my school. Also, we got to pick scholarly concentrations at my school, which is basically where there's like 9 different tracks that are different areas, and you get to pick one that you focus on for like 4 years while you're in med school. So I ended up picking the community urban health concentration. So you can imagine what that involves, but yeah, I'm involved in that. So I'm also in Healing Clinic, which is basically, we have a clinic that is student run by our students at our school, and it's basically a free healthcare clinic so people can come in like who don't have insurance and stuff and get seen by us. But there's like 4 different things that we have involved. One is like the actual clinic, and then it's like a couple other things. So I'm actually involved in HIPS, which is basically a program that helps people who are drug users. So I'm involved in that with the drug users in our community, and I'm basically, just involved in that. It's been good to be able to be involved in like a community and do things outside of school. Last but not least, school itself. How have I been studying? How has the material been? How has the actual learning been? It has been difficult. Med school is difficult. It is definitely difficult. It's not even the fact that the information you're learning is difficult. It's the amount of information that you're learning and how much you have to memorize and master in a short amount of time. I'll explain a little bit about med school quickly. So the way my school does it is that we have blocks, and each block is basically a unit of what you are learning at that time. So say you are only learning about all heart things, that will be a block. That's not actually what it is at our school, but just to give you an idea of blocks. So for this first semester, we had 2 blocks. They were 9 weeks each. The first block was called Foundations, and that was pretty much all over the place. It was basically learning like the foundational science you need to know before you get into the nitty-gritty of the medical stuff. So it was a whole lot of biochemistry, pretty much, a whole lot of it. And it was just learning something different every day. It was honestly a lot. I did not enjoy Foundations at all. Some people did. I hated it. And we had 3 exams for that first one. The second block that we're currently in, that we have 2 weeks left of, is called I3, which is Inflammation, Infectious Diseases, and Immunology, and it has a lot of hematology too. So we're learning about like the anemias, the leukemias, the bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses, immunology, just all of that type of stuff. And this block, a lot of people hate this block. I actually don't mind this block. I actually kind of like it, but it is difficult because you have to memorize so many things. So the memorizing is not fun, but the information itself, I actually kind of enjoy. We also have 3 exams in this block too. So altogether 6 exams. I've taken 5 out of those 6 exams. And I passed all of them, thankfully. Let me talk a little bit about grades. My school is pass fail, so your grades your first 2 years pretty much don't really matter because they're just pass or fail. As long as you're passing for us is a 67. So as long as you're passing, then you're pretty much good. A lot of med school students, including myself, we were the types who got straight A's, 95s on every exams, always were the best in the class. And I was one of those people. It's hard. Like, you kind of get humbled coming to med school. Like, this is the first time in your life where you're struggling really with grades and, you know, not scoring as well. And that's something I dealt with a little bit. Out of the 5 exams, I would say I was above average maybe, or maybe I would say I mostly score either right around the average, or I usually score exactly the average, a tiny bit above or below average. I haven't really scored greatly above average. I haven't scored in the 90s for any exam. I haven't been doing super well. There's 180 people in my class. Like, the majority of people are not scoring 95 on every exam. It's probably 1 or 2 people who are doing that, but the majority isn't. So, there's at times where I've doubted myself. Imposter syndrome is real. And that's something that I've dealt with, of course, a lot over the course of this first semester, because imposter syndrome just basically is feelings that you don't belong. Like, you're where you're at on accident, but you don't actually deserve to be here, or you don't belong where you are, feeling like you're not good enough. And that's something that I've dealt with at times. I feel like I don't know how the hell I ended up getting here, because I feel like I don't know nothing. I feel like people are doing way better than me. I feel like I shouldn't even be here. And that's something scary that I've dealt with, especially as a Black woman. I'm saying all this to say that just know that this is stuff I'm telling myself, that it's an average, it's the middle score. So half of the class got below that, half it got above. So if I got below average, another 90 people also got below average with me, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just grades. It's an average because people got lower than that, people got higher than that. So it's okay if you're not getting 90s. Like, that doesn't make you any less. Some people do better on certain exams, some people don't. And that's okay. But I am proud of myself, especially my last exam. I thought I was doomed for my last exam, and I ended up getting above average. So I was happy about that. It was the hardest exam we've had yet, and I still got above average somehow. So, like, little things like that make me, like, really proud of myself. Except for one exam, the exam I did worse on. I did really bad on one of the exams. And I got in the 70s. Other than that, I've gotten the 80s pretty much for every exam, which is pretty much on par with the average that the class is scoring. Learning how to study is something I'm still learning how to do. I don't use Anki. If you don't know what Anki is, it's basically a flashcard system that but a lot of med school students use. I'm still figuring out how to study. It's been very difficult. Pretty much changing my methods here and there, figuring out what works, what doesn't. I would say for this block, Boards and Beyond, Pathoma, and Sketchy, those are all outside resources that med school students use to help them study. Those basically have been saving my life. In this exam block, it's hard because a lot of the professors are all, like, the way they teach is all subjective. Some of them, have good PowerPoint presentations. Some of them are horrible. Some of them organize it in a good way. Some of them don't. So it's been really hard sometimes with all the discrepancies between the way the professors teach. So Boards and Beyond is like a system where someone teaches, like, high yield things you need to know about a topic. So for example, leukemias, they'll teach you about, like, the 4 main leukemias and the high yield information you need to know about that without getting into, like, little nitpicky nitty-gritty things. That's what I use basically to help save my life. And then Sketchy is like a cartoon system where this guy draws up cartoons to help you remember, like, certain bacteria or viruses or parasites. And it's like little quirky drawings and mnemonics to help you remember. Like, for example, if a bacteria is catalase positive, it'll have a cat in the drawing, and that'll help you remember. But Sketchy saved my life on my last exam, so it is truly the GOAT. So yeah, I've been using different resources, trying different methods. Honestly, I'm still figuring it out. If you guys have any advice, leave it down below. But studying has been difficult, trying to figure out what method works best. So I'm still figuring that out right now. All in all, med school is hard. It's hard. I'm still trying to figure out balance. I'm trying to figure out this virtual learning. I'm trying to figure out study methods, but all in all, my grades have been fine. I've been doing well. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Do I regret going to med school? Do I think I made the right decision? Yes. No, I do not regret going to med school. I will pick this over and over again. I know this is my career path. I'm excited to become a doctor. I am excited I chose this field. I'm excited for what is to come. I'm happy I chose this. I do not regret going here. Do I regret sometimes maybe going during a pandemic? Maybe. I didn't know it would be like this. I feel like I could have taken some gap years maybe. Do I tell myself I hate this and I don't know why I'm doing this on a daily basis? Yes. When I'm studying for exams, cramming in 140 slide lectures that I need to all have memorized by the next day, yes, I do question, why am I doing this? I don't know why I decided to do this profession. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm learning this. I don't know why I chose to torture myself with this. I could have done something a lot easier. But then all that pain goes away after I pass my exam and start over, and then I'm okay again. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's hard, but it is worth it. I'm glad. I've made friends. I'm enjoying. It's not as social as it could be, but the friends I do have, I enjoy the friendships I've made so far. I enjoy learning, and I'm doing good. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm ready to start making videos again. I have vlogs already recorded and ready for you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna start uploading more consistently. I have 2 more weeks of my semester. I'm so happy it's about to end because I'm tired, y'all. But yeah, so pretty much a successful first semester of med school. I'm happy with my decision, and I'm excited to give you guys more content. So thank you guys for listening. I know I've been talking forever, but yes, I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below anything, any advice you have, any resources, anything you want to say, anything. I miss you guys, so please interact with me and tell me what you guys want to see next. But yes, I hope you guys have a good holiday season, and I'll see y'all in my next upload or whatever. All right, peace.